Have you ever found yourself lost for words in the middle of a conversation, feeling stuck and unsure of what to say next? It's a common experience, but one that can be easily overcome with the right mindset and strategies. By honing your active listening skills, asking thoughtful questions, and developing diverse interests, you can transform awkward silences into engaging discussions. Sometimes, though, it's just about accepting the natural flow of a conversation and knowing when it's okay to move on. Ready to discover how to always have something interesting to say? Let's dive in. Ever been in a conversation where you just don't know what to say next? It's like your brain hits a wall, and suddenly all those interesting thoughts you had vanish into thin air. But hey, we've all been there. This feeling of being stuck is pretty common, and guess what? It's not the end of the world. In fact, it's a great opportunity for self-improvement. The trick is to shift your mindset from panic to proactivity. Instead of worrying about filling every silence, consider it a chance to practice your discipline and focus on growth. One strategy to combat this feeling is inspired by Stoicism and Essentialism. Less is more. Don't feel the need to bombard the conversation with endless chatter. Focus on the quality of your words, not the quantity. Think of this as a digital detox, but for your speech. Clear out the clutter and keep only the essentials. This approach not only helps in reducing anxiety and depression, but also makes your words more impactful. Remember, every pause is an opportunity to reflect and redirect the conversation in a meaningful way. Now let's talk about psychology. When you're in a conversation, your mind can sometimes trick you into thinking that you need to be more interesting or funny. But here's the twist. Most people just want to be heard. Channel your inner Nietzsche or Schopenhauer. Use existentialism to dig deeper into your own thoughts and feelings, and you'll naturally start to find more things to say. Personal development isn't just about improving yourself, but also about understanding others better. Here's a little secret. Conversations are like personal success. They don't need to be perfect, just authentic. If you find yourself at a loss for words, it might be time to tap into your self-knowledge. Ask yourself why you feel stuck. Is it fear of judgment? A lack of common ground? Use these moments to learn about yourself and improve your social skill. And remember, the goal isn't to never run out of things to say, but to optimize your existence by having meaningful exchanges. Ever noticed how some people can keep a conversation flowing effortlessly? It's not magic. Active listening. Think of it like an English teacher dissecting a book, pulling out themes and hidden meanings. When you listen actively, you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. You're truly absorbing what the other person is saying. This practice is essential for personal development because it builds empathy and enhances self-knowledge. And let's be real, who doesn't want to improve their social skills? But it's more than just hearing words. It's about understanding the emotion and intent behind them. Active listening is like Stoicism in action. It requires patience, presence, and a quiet mind. By focusing on the speaker, you're practicing a form of digital minimalism, clearing out the mental noise to make space for what truly matters. This can significantly boost your mental well-being, reducing anxiety and depression by fostering genuine connections. Imagine a friend sharing their struggle with self-discipline or a recent bout of existential angst. Instead of immediately offering solutions, you listen. You nod, make small affirmations, and let them know you're there. This simple act of attentiveness can make someone feel valued, and ironically, it makes you a better conversationalist without having to say much at all. It's the essence of how to be more confident in social settings by being genuinely interested rather than interesting. And here's a pro tip. Active listening also helps with dopamine fasting. How, you ask? Well, by engaging deeply in a conversation, you're practicing mindfulness, which naturally slows down the constant craving for stimulation. You're not just reacting, but responding thoughtfully. This creates a space for more meaningful dialogue, which, in turn, opens the door to even richer conversations. So, you've mastered active listening, but what's next? It's time to ask questions. And not just any questions. The kind that keeps the conversation alive and kicking. Think of it like a motivational speech. Each question is a prompt that encourages deeper thought and reflection. This technique is invaluable for self-development because it shows genuine curiosity and a desire to understand the other person better. Plus, asking questions is a surefire way to steer clear of awkward silences. Sometimes, the simplest questions are the most powerful. You don't need to channel Marco Aurelio and ask about the meaning of life. A simple, "What do you think about that?" can work wonders. This approach aligns with the philosophy of essentialism. Focus on what matters most. In conversations, what matters most is the exchange of ideas and emotions, not the complexity of your question. So, keep it simple, but meaningful. Let's consider a practical example. Imagine you're at a networking event, and you're not sure what to say. Instead of racking your brain for a witty comment, ask, "What's the most exciting thing happening in your field right now?" This not only keeps the conversation going, but also gives you a chance to learn something new, another step towards optimizing your existence. And who knows, you might even discover a shared interest, paving the way for a more engaging discussion. Remember, the goal isn't to ask questions like a robot, but to use them as tools for personal growth and self-knowledge. When you ask questions, you're not just gathering information, you're creating opportunities for connection and empathy. It's a proactive approach to improving social skills and boosting personal success. And the best part? You'll never run out of things to talk about if you're genuinely curious. Now, let's talk about developing interests. Ever felt like you've run out of things to say because you don't have enough in your conversation bank? This is where personal growth comes into play. By developing new interests, you're not just enriching your own life, but also giving yourself more material to draw from in conversations. It's like stocking up on tools for when you need them most. Whether it's talking about digital detox strategies or your latest dive into Nietzsche's philosophy, the beauty of developing interests is that it makes you a more dynamic conversationalist. Whether you're discussing the nuances of dopamine fasting or sharing your latest journey into Stoicism, having a range of topics at your disposal keeps conversations fresh and engaging. It's not about being a know-it-all, but about sharing your enthusiasm and inviting others into your world. This, in turn, fosters personal success by building deeper connection. Personal anecdotes can be incredibly powerful. Maybe you recently picked up gardening, and you've found that it helps with your mental well-being and focus on growth. Sharing this experience not only gives you something to talk about, but also inspires others to find hobbies that contribute to their personal development. Remember, personal growth isn't a solo journey. It's something we can all learn from and share with others. Developing interests also ties into the philosophy of essentialism, focusing on what truly matters. By dedicating time to things that bring you joy and fulfillment, you're optimizing your existence in the most meaningful way. And as you grow, so does your ability to engage in rich, diverse conversations. It's a win-win situation that enhances both self-knowledge and social skill. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, conversations just don't click. Maybe there's a lack of shared interests, or perhaps the vibe just isn't there. And you know what? That's okay. Accepting these limits is a crucial part of self-improvement and personal development. Not every conversation has to be groundbreaking. This is where Stoicism comes in handy. Embrace the idea that not everything is within your control, including how a conversation unfolds. Understanding and accepting these limits can actually reduce anxiety and improve your mental well-being. When you acknowledge that some conversations won't flow naturally, you take the pressure off yourself. It's a bit like digital minimalism. Sometimes it's okay to let go and not force something that isn't working. This perspective shift can lead to a healthier mindset and more enjoyable social interactions. Think of it this way: every conversation is an opportunity for growth, whether it goes well or not. If you find yourself in a dialogue that's not sparking joy, use it as a moment of reflection. Why isn't it working? What can you learn from this? It's all part of self-knowledge and improving social skills. And sometimes the best way to be a better person is to recognize when to gracefully step back. Remember, personal success isn't about having perfect conversations all the time. It's about learning from each interaction and understanding your own limits. By accepting that not every conversation will be a hit, you're actually practicing essentialism. focusing your energy on what truly matters and letting go of the rest. And who knows, the next conversation might be the one that changes everything.